NBC's new series, The Village, takes place in a apartment unit where all of the people more or less look out for each other. I'm Zach Laws of Gold Derby, and with me right now is Lorraine Toussaint. She's one of the stars of this new series. And Lorraine, this presents, in a lot of ways, a sort of idealized version of, how we would like our, communities to be run. Can you talk a little bit about why now seems like the right time for a show like this?
It seems idealized, but I certainly have lived in New York City on and off for the last 40 years, and I've lived in a building very similar to this. And so, on some level, this kind of building feels like coming home for me. But why at this time in history? Because I think that we've moved into an era where we're being told to be afraid of our neighbors. In the micro and in the macro, and so it's a lovely moment where we can just remind ourselves of who we have been, who we I think at heart are as human beings, as Americans, as community.
Yeah, and I think the reason why it feels so idealized is because we are at this moment in time so divided, and those divisions sometimes are drawn along racial, gender, cultural lines, and this show is sort of like a melting pot, as New York City is, as any big city is, of people from all over the world, and you see them, being able to function and get along, and it's kind of sad that that feels almost fantastical.
I know, because for some reason we're sort of engaged in enemy thinking and enemy perception, so we're engaging in enemy behavior. That serves absolutely no one, and the future of this country, the world, the next generations is in communal living, communal working, is really coming together in life and work. That's the future.
Right. So tell us a little bit about, when you first read the script for the pilot, what did you think about it?
I loved it right away because I've been sort of doing a lot of dystopic dramas where, post-apocalyptic, the end of the world, and we were all in survival mode, and lots of beheadings and killings, and certainly that was the case in Into the Badlands, which I just finished the last season. But so when this came along, it felt like a really familiar place to land and a soft place to land. My spirit really was craving a soft place to land, so I responded immediately.
Mm-hmm. And tell us a bit about the character you play, Patricia.
Patricia is she's sort of the quintessential archetypal female. There is such a wonderful feminine energy to her. She is a nurturer. She's a caregiver. She is again a soft place to land. She's a social worker, so she's invested in the well-being of children and old people and people. She is a wife, and I think a pretty good wife. She may actually be a a better wife than I am in real life. Oh dear. But she is, she cooks like I do. Very similar. Many qualities of Patricia are very similar to Lorraine, to me. So, but in the first season, you certainly see that she's challenged by some pretty major health issues. So she's going to need this little village of hers that she has helped to nurture.
Right. I mean, you mentioned her health issues. She finds out in the first season she's suffering from cancer. Can you just talk a bit about? I mean, I think that most people either know someone or have personally, gone through a cancer diagnosis in their life. So, I mean, were there, did you have to do some kind of research, or did you talk to people who, suffered from it? Or, I mean, how did you prepare for that?
I have friends who are survivors. I don't think any of us can escape that in any way. I mean, we all have friends or family who, in one way or another, have been touched. And so I did my research, I did my research. I did some personal research with members of my community, and of course, with doctors, et cetera, et cetera. Very specifically going through the chemo recovery, the chemo treatment process. I spoke with specialists. And so, yeah, you do your homework, but this one's special to me. I want to get this one right because I do have friends who are survivors.
Right. Can you talk a bit about the ways in which her cancer diagnosis affects her marriage, affects her friendships, affects her her general outlook on life?
I don't think it's possible to have death really staring you down without it directly affecting the way in which you choose to live. With whatever time you've got left. We never know how much time we've got left, but most times we're sort of fortunately oblivious to it. When it's knocking on your door in some capacity, I think Patricia's probably aware of the quality of her living at this point forward because, who knows? So, it affects my marriage because physically there's a lot of stuff that goes down with this treatment. It's no day at the park, and Ron, my husband, is going to be on the front line with that. As a caregiver and a caretaker, it's hard to receive care as a chronic caretaker that Patricia is. So I think she's going to be greatly challenged, especially, knock on wood, we get the second season, that we'll see her struggling with people showing up for her. It's so much easier for her to give than it is to receive. So it's going to affect the community. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a baby in the community, and we have life and we have potential death. There's this sort of full circle. That's one of the things I like about this show, the age range of the inhabitants of this building. We get to pretty much cover everything.
Right, exactly. You mentioned wanting to get it right. Have you heard from people who who are survivors of cancer? Have they talked to you about the show at all, or your performance?
Yes, I've gotten, certainly on social media and in my family, that the quiet dread, the quiet fears, especially in the quiet moments of when she is alone with herself in this place. I've had people reach out and say they recognize that feeling of isolation because no one really knows the way you do. People are there for you, but it's a road you're walking. At the end of the day, you're walking that one alone.
You have the majority of your scenes are with Frankie Faison, who plays your husband, Ron. Can you talk a bit about working with him and how you as actors, I guess, can build a chemistry that conveys a long-lasting marriage?
Frankie and I played husband and wife 30 years ago.
Well, there you go.
I actually sort of forgot. But he's a veteran actor. We've been around the block. This ain't our first row. So we stepped into it with a level of confidence and awareness that we were the old folks, as it were, on the block, metaphorically speaking too. So that's lovely. You don't have to. There's a shorthand that happens there with the both of us because we just we've been doing this a very long time. We know what the gig is, but I've always respected and liked Frankie and Frankie's work, and so we came to each other knowing each other's body of work too. It was so easy. I got to tell you, it was so easy. We just stepped in and we were married. And he's married, I'm married. We kind of know how we do that thing. And he's happily married, I'm happily married. So we just kind of stepped in and just started loving on each other. It wasn't hard.
Right. You know, you mentioned the fact that you've got a wide variety of members of this cast. I mean, you've got veteran performers, you've got newcomers. Can you talk a bit about how you guys all work together?
Um, we work together. You know, there are so many shows where there's controversy. This is not one of them. We really do care for each other, and all of us, the older members, we're all family people. So we've got, you know, significant others and children. So a lot of the conversations are about things like schools and babysitters and Halloween and what are the kids wearing, and it's quite ordinary in that wonderful kind of way. And the younger members we just all take them under wing so that they really do feel like our kids, you know. It's not unusual for me to go, Grace, are you going home? Are you going straight home? And, you know, text me when you get there. We are sort of surrogate parents on set as well. We get along really terrifically. I love Dominic, and, you know, Dominic calls me kid. So it's great. So Grace sees, I call her kid, and Dominic calls me kid. So I love the way he sings to me too. Whenever we walk to set, he takes my arm and he sings to me all the way to set. It's lovely.
You've been very busy these last couple of years, I guess, for things now coming out this year. You know, you mentioned Into the Badlands, which just finished airing. You've also got a couple of movies coming up. Can you just talk a bit about some of the other things you've worked on this year and some of the things you've got coming up?
Badlands, yes, of course. I did a wonderful film called Fast Color, directed by Julia Hart, and that's gotten terrific critical acclaim. That was another dystopic drama of 3 generations of women with unusual abilities. It's really a very new take on the superhero genre. I love that little film. I just finished Julie Taymor's The Glorias. It's a biopic by Gloria Steinem, starring Julianne Moore, and we just wrapped on that one. And Shira, I'm very proud of my role in Shira, the voice of Shadow Weaver. My teenager likes that one. Sprinter, goodness gracious, which is a Will and Jada produced Sprinter. It's about something called the Barrel Baby Experience, which I play a Jamaican woman, a Jamaican immigrant in the 80s, where you left your children in the Caribbean and you came to America to work and sent barrels of stuff back home to the children. It's a wonderful indie. So I've been busy.
Yes, you have been. Before I let you go, I just wanted to ask you, you know, you're a Critics' Choice Award winner and a SAG Award winner for your work on Orange is the New Black. Can you talk just a bit about what that recognition meant to you, and also about working on that show? I mean, you had a really juicy 1-season role on that series that I think a lot of fans really loved and appreciated. Can you just talk a bit about that?
I think getting the Critics' Choice Award for that was very validating. It was I think it was the opportunity where the critics, quote unquote, gave me their nod, which was really lovely. That was a sort of an unusual piece of work, a little bit outside the box, which I love. I'm doing a lot of things outside the box these days, which is kind of wonderful. One of the best acting experiences I've had for a while. Those women on the show brought their A game every single day, and the ways in which we pushed each other to be better was, gosh, that was such a gift, such a gift. and no ego, no stuff. We just came to the playground to play. We played hard. They're still my girls, you know. They're also like my daughters, many of them. Oh my gosh, I adore those women. So I was very happy that that piece of work was received the way it was.
Well, you've been doing a lot of work that's been received in the same way lately, so congratulations on all of that. Lorraine, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And thanks to all of you at home for watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe buttons below, and make sure you visit us at goldderby.com for all the latest entertainment awards news.